history of smashing guitars. Way back, almost 50 years ago in the 1960s, they said, Jimi Hendrix, probably, yeah, it was close to 50 years. I don't know. I'm not the best in math, but I know math. But anyway, it was in the mid-60s. All of a sudden, Jimi Hendrix said, I love you, guitar. But first, I'm going to smash you, then I'm going to burn you. Wait. Okay. All of a sudden, Amp's guitar is destroyed. Then he whips out his Zippo and goes, I'm gonna burn you, dude! Yeah! And so, torches the guitar. Peter Thompson from The Who smashes and burns. Okay, Kurt Cobain 30 years later smells like Teen Spirit. I was mad that he burned the guitar. And so, but what happened was people have been smashing guitars a long time. And I said, you know what? I like guitars. I have 109 guitars. They are my friends. I like the guitar. I didn't want to smash and burn a guitar. In fact, I don't know how it is here in Australia, but in the United States, I can just picture if Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain and Peter Townsend were all in a room in the year 2011, and there would be some person, whether it's from the government or a teacher, and they'd be sitting in a chair, and the teacher would go, now Jimmy, why do you feel possessed to smash and burn a guitar? They would be in anger management classes today. And so I said, why? Why does somebody have to smash a guitar? It's been done 40 years ago. And then people still keep doing it. And it's like, well, is that cool? Well, I guess maybe. It wasn't cool for me because I like guitars. But I love the aggression of it. And see, when Hendrix did it, it was new. When Peter Townsend did it, it was new. By the time Kurt Cobain got a hold of it 20 years ago, it was already been done 20 years before. I didn't want to be those kinds of guitar players playing live. So what I said is, how can I be that crazy on stage but not smash my guitar? In fact, I had a great idea. How do I, at the end of the show, put the guitar back in the case? And so I said, I don't want to smash guitars. So what I did was I started coming up with things on stage. I am left-handed. I'm an inventor. I own a patent on this little red device on my guitar. I invented a string dampener. I own trademarks. I designed guitars. I came up with 29-fret rocket guitars. I invented a double guitar, invented a quad guitar. I was using 7-string guitars in the 1980s. Before Steve Vai, before Ibanez, I'm not saying that I'm known for 7 strings. I always thought a little differently about what I wanted to do. And so when I started doing the over-under, people flipped out. But it didn't just come out like this. What happened was it started slowly. I just started experimenting with playing a guitar like a keyboard because I play piano and I am left-handed. This is my strong arm. And so once I did that, the audience told me they liked it. They said, especially non-musicians, they were like, dude, what is that wild thing you're doing? And so it gave me the inspiration to do more and more and more and more. And I realized, too, there are millions of guitar players in this world. I wanted to get noticed. I don't have 50 million views on YouTube for no reason. I have them because there's something about what I do that people want to watch. And that's something I've worked at. You don't have, Madonna's not the best looking woman, neither is Lady Gaga. It's not about being the coolest looking person. It's about just doing something that catches people's attention and makes one stand out. And so, does that mean that you have to do this? No. But here's what I did in my instructional programs. And for years, critics never figured it out. And all of a sudden, I'm still here and they're gone. And this is the reason I studied. See, Jimmy Page used a bow. Jimmy Page held his guitar low. It has nothing to do with the music. Angus Young, I met Angus Young. He's this tall. When I watched him on stage, he looked 8 meters tall because he shakes his head. I'm like, dude, how can you do that year after year? He writes amazing music. He's got an amazing show. And that's what I learned. Those are the big two. I'm great in the studio. See, these guitars are for sale. Anyone here today can buy this guitar, buy that guitar, buy these amps, buy these leads. They're not mine. But when I record my music, I have my Dean guitars, 109 guitars. I can put 30 guitars in a room and say, I want this guitar for this part, and I want this guitar for this part, and this is the amp I want on this part, and this is the amp I want on this. I make the best music I can, and it works. Good enough to be signed to 2 major labels, good enough to have songs in movies. So I'm really good in the studio because I know the art. But live, I don't have that luxury. You were going, out of the 5,000 plus videos on YouTube, I would say over 4,000 of them are with guitars and amps I've never used in my life. I don't care. Because live, you want to present your music in the best way. Angus Young doesn't have to run around and shake his head, but it's cool when he does it. I like it! It makes for a show. So if you have the music and you have something to portray that music with, you have the metal edge. And so this is what I talked about for my whole career. On my instructional programs, from Speed Kills all the way up to today, it has never been about play like me. It is about I learn from other people and say to you, I'm giving you the keys to the Lamborghini. I worked on that Lamborghini. I studied. And I'm saying, if you just pay attention, anybody can do this. And so that was the whole premise of everything I've ever taught. Now, speaking of this, I had a great challenge one time. I had some feisty little dude in a music store in the United States go, hey man, it's pretty cool what you do, man. He goes, but can you play Metallica over and under the neck? And I'm like, yes. So here's my version of Metallica. 9. Let's do it.